what is up, guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel. And today I was going to be recording my round 1 predictions for the AFL for next season, but I kind of forgot that this was the day that they're going to release it on. I forgot that the first week in December is usually when they release the next season round 1 fixture. So I did not have enough time to go through my predictions and go through my reasoning for those. So I'll be saying the reasoning. I'll also put the actual game and my prediction for that time. So yeah, let's get straight into it. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want to see more of this content, don't forget to drop a like on this video. Yeah, and up in the top corner, you can go search out another video series that's actually quite good that you guys should see. So yeah, so the AFL is finally back to the Thursday night, opener, and I actually got the home team for this one right. So that's actually quite a given, seeing as Carlton and Richmond usually swap over every single year. 2021, Richmond was the home team, and then last season, Carlton was the home team. So I was going off that, that trend, and I got the home team right, and I also got the same time of 7:20, which usually most Thursday night games get, and yeah, it's better than the the grand final rematch on the Wednesday night. When literally it was 58,000 people at that game, which was actually the highest attendance for both Melbourne Demons versus Western Bulldogs. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, but it was only just above 50% of the MCG. Now we move on to the Friday night game, where I predicted, this is my prediction, Western Bulldogs versus St Kilda at Marvel Stadium. And, I thought, it would attract a pretty big crowd. And a lot of people would be loving to see that, especially on a Friday night game. It's prime time, I just thought that it would attract a big crowd. Marvel Stadium would be buzzing. And, and both teams could show their quality, and yeah, basically, that's why I predicted it, because it would be a good game. But then when I looked at the fixtures, I realised this one was an even better game, with Geelong taking on Collingwood at the MCG at 7:50 p.m. on the Friday night. Now, this is a qualifying final rematch, and could have been a grand final rematch if if Callum Mills didn't put the ball onto the post. This would definitely bring in a big crowd. Thursday night game would bring in 80,000 people. This game would bring in 90,000 people. Mark my words, first 2 games of the season will be, it'll be big crowds. And the combined would be 170,000 people at the MCG in 2 nights. If it's anywhere between 160,000 and 180,000 people over the 2 nights, yeah, I guess I'll take that. Moving on to the Saturday games, and for the 1:45 game, I chose to have both the expansion clubs, both Gold Coast and GWS, play on the Gold Coast this time, because they haven't played there. Those teams played there in a while, and it would definitely show who's the better expansion club at this moment, and it could show some quality that both teams have. That was my reasoning. I think the crowd would have been alright. It would be decent as well, 14,000 people in the 20-odd thousand stadium capacity of Metricon Stadium. But the actual game is North Melbourne versus West Coast at Marvel Stadium, and yeah, I guess I got a Marvel Stadium game, but it just wasn't the right one. This is actually quite a good fixture, but also probably one of the deadest fixtures ever, because I don't think that many people will be watching this game, unfortunately, because it's a round 1 game. It could show like, not that good quality. It could be like pretty low scoring. Could be high scoring because their attack's good, but their defense is terrible. A few people are like, saying that this game would be one of the deadest, and I might have to side on to them. But to be honest, I feel like this is actually quite a good one from the AFL. So at least one of those teams gets to be in the top 8 for at least a game or 2. Now we're moving on to the second Saturday game, and I put this as North Melbourne vs Hawthorn at Blundstone Arena. I just thought that both Tasmania teams should play up against each other in round 1, and it should also be hosted in Tasmania, seeing as both of those clubs do play home games, around 2 to 3 home games in Tasmania. One being in Hobart, which is where North Melbourne play, and one being in Launceston, which is where Hawthorn play. And I thought the crowd would be like a pretty decent crowd, because both sides do have a big, supporting in Tasmania, because a lot of those fans live in there. But the actual game is Port Adelaide versus Brisbane at the Adelaide Oval at the 4:35 p.m. game, or local time in Adelaide, 4:05. And I might have to say that this is probably one of the best games of the round. Like, other than Collingwood Geelong, this is one of the best games of the round. I think this one would be like tight scoring. It would be a big crowd as well. And yeah, the thing that ruined Port Adelaide last season was their 0-5 start. I think if they have a good game here, then if they win here, they've got a good chance of finishing in the top 6 minimum, I think. Both sides would definitely be wanting to finish in top 4. As Brisbane last season, they've made it to the prelim, and they want to keep that form up and hope that they can actually go one step further and go one step further in that one step further, basically. Now, we're on to the third Saturday game at the 7:25 p.m. fixture. I had Port Adelaide versus Collingwood, so both teams have already been scheduled to play, but I had Port Adelaide versus Collingwood at the Adelaide Oval, because those teams have not played each other at the Adelaide Oval since 2015, so I thought, why not have them play? And you know what, I feel like this fixture should happen in the whole season, as now we've got the Magic round in here, so there's one extra round this season, and we all know who's going to be playing who in the Magic round, because it's being hosted in Adelaide, so surely they should have Adelaide versus Port Adelaide. But we move on to here. Port fans do not want to travel to the MCG or to Marvel Stadium to be playing up against Collingwood. That was my reasoning for it, and the actual game is the grand final rematch in 2021 between Melbourne and Western Bulldogs. It's quite weird having a grand final rematch happen 2 seasons in a row, a grand final game. It could be tradition, that's probably that, or it could just be just randomly selected because of the draw. It's really going to be a big game, and it should be a bigger game than last season. There could be over 60,000 people watching the game, which I hope is correct, really. Honestly, we'd like to have more people at AFL games. I just want to say, for my prediction for the 7:25, 7:30 game, I had predicted Geelong Cats versus the Sydney Swans at the MCG, and my reasoning is, it's a grand final rematch. There would be a large attendance because, both teams are set, their main base is in Melbourne, with or in like Victoria, with Geelong's being like in Geelong, and Sydney's being in South Melbourne or Lake Oval. Yeah, so my reasoning was, grand final rematch. It happened last season. It could happen again. And, with the Cats, raising their flag at the MCG, it probably would be a good one to have. But obviously, as you've seen already, the Cats have already got a game playing against the Collingwood Magpies. But at least I got the Sydney Swans away game confirmed, to be right, as the Swans are playing Gold Coast at Metricon Stadium at 7:30. It could be a bit harsh for the Swans playing at a grand final match and then playing at a 20,000 seater stadium. But the Swans' form up against the Suns is horrendous. These last, the last 5 seasons, Swans have only won 2 of their last 8 games up against Gold Coast. So it would definitely be good if the Swans can get a result out of this. So I think what the AFL is doing is trying to tell Sydney to get your game up against Gold Coast. Yeah. I actually think this is going to be a pretty good game, with both sides on a rise. Gold Coast trying to aim for the top 4, the top 8 basically, to be the second Gold Coast team in all of Australian sports to make the top 8 and make finals and play finals. And the Swans definitely could get something up here, as we're on the hunt for top 2 finish, even maybe even a chance at a shot at the premiership. So yeah, that would be good. Now we move on to the Sunday games, and I'm actually not mad at this prediction, because I did predict Melbourne Demons to play against the Adelaide Crows at the MCG at the 1:10 p.m. game. As I just thought it would be a good game. Adelaide up against Melbourne in these last 2 seasons, it's 1-1 basically. It'll be good to have it in Melbourne, because the last 2 games have been played in Adelaide for this fixture. So yeah, that was my logical thinking, and I actually didn't get off. But I got Adelaide playing an away game, but it was GWS Giants up against Adelaide at Giants Stadium at 1:10 p.m. This is probably another dead game basically, I feel like. To be honest, I would have enjoyed if the AFL put the 2 expansion sides up against each other. I feel like I would like that sort of game and all that, but I guess it was you can't get everything that you want basically. For this game, I feel like there would be a lot of quality in this game, because they're bottom 5 sides basically, and a win here for one of those sides will probably put them into the top 8 for at least a week. So that could give their team confidence boost, and yeah, that's just my thinking on this game, just without a script, because my predictions one had a script, and this one's just thinking off the top of my head. On to the Sunday matches, where I did predict the Brisbane Lions to play against the Fremantle Dockers at the Gabba. To be honest, I am not mad at this prediction. I feel like this game, if it was correct, it would have a lot of quality, and being at the Gabba, it would bring in a huge crowd, and it's on a Sunday, pretty good time for a Sunday match to be played up against 2 of these sides. And yeah, that was my reasoning, and they're quite good sides. They finished both 5th and 6th in the season last season, so Yeah, that was my thinking. But the actual game, and I'm surprised I actually didn't predict this, because I'm pretty sure this was like a given, really. I kind of saw this one happening. Hawthorn up against Essendon, a like old rivalry match. It's like a big rival match at the MCG at the 3:10 game. So at least I got the MCG game right, but it wasn't at the same time. Yeah, this game is definitely going to bring in a huge crowd. I feel like this game is one of the games of the round, like top 3 game of the round. Like top 3 would have, you know, Geelong, Collingwood. You've got, you know, this game, Hawthorn, Essendon, and then you've got the Richmond Carlton game. Now my prediction, as you know, I predicted Fremantle to have an away game, is to have the West Coast Eagles play up against the Essendon Bombers at Optus Stadium. But then I realised that this is going to be a week earlier than usual. So Ed Sheeran's going to be, he's touring in Australia basically, and he's in Perth at Optus Stadium when round 1 happens, because of like Magic Round. Every round gets pushed back a week. So yeah, I didn't know that obviously when I was doing this. And my reasoning is, I even put this in the script, is this game will be played at Optus Stadium as Fremantle playing away. So yeah, and my reasoning was also like they're both bottom 4 sides, and a win could, like, you know, propel their season. A loss can also propel them to do better and show that they need, you know, fixing and all that, like where to fix up and all that. But the actual game, which I'm actually surprised this isn't a Saturday night game. St Kilda versus Fremantle at Marvel Stadium, 4:40 p.m. at Marvel Stadium. I think I already said that. And the last time these two teams played at Marvel Stadium, there was a horrendous call at the end of the 3rd quarter that gifted Fremantle a goal, which, you know, probably won them the game because of that. So I feel like this game will have a lot of like intense matchups, because both of these sides are, like, you know, coming up now. Like, they're like constantly, well, St Kilda are constantly in now like the top 12, so you can give them like somewhere around there. So yeah, I don't actually mind this fixture as well. It's just a shame that both Hawthorn and Essendon and St Kilda Fremantle are playing on at the same time. Like, if Hawthorn and Essendon was like on like at the same time, Fremantle, St Kilda was on like a Saturday game, you know, there's gonna be like 2 different like bits. Yeah, definitely a huge crowd will turn up to this game, so I wouldn't be shocked. And you know, the whole fixture is out you know, next week, and like the given like next 7 days. So I will be like, you know, reviewing that, and yeah, so this is like my in-depth and like, you know, reacting to you know, the round 1 fixtures for 2022 for the AFL season. Yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't get the predictions out quicker. It's because of like I had, you know, schoolwork to complete, obviously. So yeah, I was trying to film it today, and then the fixtures came out today, so saved me like a lot of time, because if it was out tomorrow and I was still editing it, or like just uploading it, then it wouldn't make sense to have a predictions one when the fixtures are already out. So yeah, if you guys are new to the channel and are enjoying the content, don't forget to drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel and, you know, obviously are enjoying the content, and don't forget to smash the subscribe button. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so it really mean a lot if you guys could get me there. Yeah, if you guys want me to react to it, try and get this video to like 10 likes and all that. And yeah, I'll see you guys all in my next video. Okay, bye.